Good afternoon and welcome to the media news. I'm Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured U.S. potential investors of massive investment opportunities in Nigeria, especially in the non-oil sector of the economy. The president gave the assurance at a dialogue session with some U.S. investors, Nigerian officials, diplomats, and as well as experts from the private sectors in the Washington, D.C. Reports say that the presidential dialogue, Nigeria Business and Investment Forum, was held on the sidelines of the 2022 U.S. Africa Leaders Summit. He said the outcome of the massive efforts and investments by his administration in infrastructure development and refurbishment led to the reconstruction of 21 selected federal roads totaling 1,804.6 kilometers. The president further said that Nigeria, like other countries, including the developed economies, is facing economic challenges occasioned by the disruptions as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the ongoing Ukraine war, as well as the climate change, in which massive flooding is one of the manifestations. The Nigerian leader pointed out that the statistics continued to indicate that most sectors of the economy recorded positive growth in spite of these challenges, which reflects the effective implementation of the economic sustainability measures introduced by his administration. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has warned that the 2023 general election might be jeopardized if the spate of attacks on its facilities across the country is not checked. Yakubu raised the alarm while speaking at a public hearing by the House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating attacks on INEC offices and facilities across the country. He, however, stated that despite the attacks, the Commission is determined to continue with the preparations for the elections, warning, however, that the implications will be far-reaching if not curtailed. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, while declaring the hearing open, said that the House is disturbed by these systematically orchestrated attacks and resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the remote and immediate causes of the incessant attacks on INEC facilities. Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State is in total support of local government autonomy in order to ensure even distribution of the dividend democracy for all-round development of the grassroots. A member of Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Adeyemi Adewumi, representing Obokun State constituency, gave the affirmation shortly after featuring on Osbc television current affairs program Saturday Morning Trades. Honorable Adewumi also stated that one of the factors militating against constitution review has to do with selfish interests of most politicians, saying power must be devolved from presidents and governors to other two arms of government in line with the dictates of the Constitution. Nigerians have expressed mixed feelings on the release of new Naira notes by the Central Bank of Nigeria, as they doubted its circulation across banking institutions in the country. Those who spoke with Osbc News in separate interviews called on the Apex Bank to make the new Naira notes available. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga asked more.
As part of reforms aimed at controlling the amount of money in circulation and maintaining the value of Naira, that the Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele had announced that the newly redesigned Naira note, which was unveiled by President Muhammadu Buhari last month, would be introduced to replace the current 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira notes on the 5th of this month. Osbc News crew observation in some commercial banks visitors in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, revealed that the automated teller machines were dispensing 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira of the old Naira notes. Speaking with Osbc News on this development, the financial expert Dr. Yinka Anjus and Mr. Balogun Adekunle said for the new Naira note to get circulated, Nigerians would have to exercise patience. They noted that the central bank is in charge of the monetary policy of the country and may want to regulate the quantity of the notes released into the economy, bearing in mind that the cash withdrawal limit of the Apex ban could take effect from early next month. According to the respondent, the policies, if well implemented, would help rejuvenate the economy and strengthen the naira.
We are too hasty. Let us relax. Day one, we're already complaining. That shows our mindset. As far as I'm concerned, it has just begun. I think, like I said, time moving on, definitely we are going to have as much as CBN wanted. People should give this policy a chance.
Distributing the new Naira note to the public. And I believe it will be through the commercial banks. And it should still be in processing. I believe it will get to people in due course. We know that the 1st of January is the deadline of being in possession of this old Naira note. So we should be on lookout.
Speaking to the contrary, Mr. Mohamed Badi maintained that the poor circulation of new Naira notes is as a result of incompetence on the part of the central bank.
Ordinarily, we should be seeing the new notes and people should be doing away with the old notes. But unfortunately now, it is difficult for people to even get the new notes, and to do away with what they have in their hand is another issue for them. So
he enjoined the Central Bank of Nigeria to put together a proper plan to make the Naira notes available for the use of all. Oluwa Tobiloba, Odunuga, Osbc News.
Meanwhile, the Arewa Consultative Forum has objected to the cash withdrawal restrictions despite its support for the recent cashless monetary policy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The ACF noted that it is afraid that the consequences of the implementing the new policy might have a reverse effect on the economy, as it advised the Apex Bank to review the policy. This is contained in a statement issued by the Secretary General of the Forum, Muritala Aliyu, and made available to newsmen in Kaduna State. It observed that more than anyone, CBN knows that transactions in commodity markets, especially in the rural areas, are entirely cash-based. According to the statement, if the CBN insists on implementing the wholly unrealistic policy of restricting individual cash withdrawal from the banks to 20,000 naira per day and 100,000 naira for a week, or 500,000 naira in the case of corporate bodies, it won't be long before the nation suffers a catastrophic collapse of the informal sector of the economy. And moving on to sport, the Federation of International Body Association is reconsidering the format of 2026 World Cup in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. President Gianni Infantino of the World Football Governing Body disclosed this at a news conference in Qatar after attending a FIFA Council meeting. He further disclosed that the teams will increase from 32 to 48 for the competition, as set to be divided into 16 groups of 3, with the top 2 progressing to the last 32. Infantino said 3.27 million spectators attended the games, compared with an overall 3.3 million at the 2018 World Cup in Russia. The group stages in Qatar included some exciting final games as countries tried to secure a top 2 place to qualify for the last 16. The 4-team group format, with the top 2 going through to the knockout stages, has been used since the Men's World Cup expanded to 32 teams in 1998. A number of European nations planned to wear a One Love armband during the matches to promote diversity and inclusion, but did not do so because of possible sanctions from the World Football Body. And on the foreign scene, Tunisia holds a luxury election today for a parliament with virtually no power, which is the final pillar of President Kais Saied's political overall in the birthplace of the Arab Spring. The vote comes after 3 weeks of barely noticeable campaigning, with few posters in the streets and no serious debate among the public, largely preoccupied with pressing financial concerns. Opposition political groups in the North African country have called for a boycott, saying the poll is part of a coup against the only democracy to have emerged from the 2011 wave of oil crisis across the region. After months of political deadlocks and economic crisis exacerbated by the coronavirus pandemic, President Saied suspended parliament and sent tanks to surround it in a dramatic power grab more than a decade after a popular revolution unseated dictator Zine Abidine Ben Ali. President Said, a former law professor, has since pushed through a new constitution giving the presidency almost unrestrained powers and laying the ground for a 161-seat rubber stamp legislature. Malaysian authorities say landslide death toll has risen to 23 as rescue workers scoured muddy terrain for survivors and bodies, including children, at an organic farm near the town of Batankali. 10 people are still missing after a pre-dawn landslide hit site, while the chances of finding survivors in the mud and debris by Selangor State Fire and Rescue are slim. Officials said there had been more than 90 people, most of them asleep, at the campsite near a mountain casino resort when the landslide struck. And that ends the media news on OSBC TV. It was edited by Kayode Adibayo. Do join us at 5 for the evening news. Good afternoon.
Iṣẹ́ lóògùn iṣẹ́, ọ̀rẹ́ mi ò múra síṣẹ́, tòróhùn mo bá fòníṣẹ́, dandan ni kò kéré ẹ̀ lọ́la. Ohun tó máa jẹ láyé dọ̀wọ́ rẹ̀, ọmọ máa máa yan ìyànkúyàn o. Ọmọ mi máa máa yan ìyànkúyàn. Ohun tó máa jẹ láyé dọ̀wọ́ rẹ̀, ọmọ máa máa yan ìyànkúyàn o. Jẹ́ láyé dọ̀wọ́ rẹ̀, ọmọ máa máa yan òṣì mo bẹ̀ ọ́. Ọmọ mi máa máa yan ìyànkúyàn. Máa yanyan kúyàn, máa yanyan kúyàn, ọmọ mi dòdò ló gbóhùn tí mò ń wí. Ọmọ mi máa máa yan ìyànkúyàn. Múra síṣẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi, iṣẹ́ la fi ń dẹni gíga. Bá ò bá rẹ̀ ní fẹ̀yìntì, ṣé